right? Tom, right? The Tom got uh, so much tied down, right, by this mother's behavior. Mother was all the time instructing, you do this and do this, and he's a well-grown man. So that became a very big trouble for him, right? So then as a result of that, he left home, right? Putting these people very helpless, right? So you should know, as I told you, his father left when they were so young, right? When he grew up and become a young man and employed, he also left, leaving only 2 women at home, right? Okay. Then that guilty consciousness was there throughout his life, right? Because by the time he was wanted most for his family, when sister was not so well, mother was, right, as mother described in the Act 1, Act 2, or Act 3, it's a solitary battle, right? Amanda says it's a solitary battle, right? When she was fighting that solitary battle, right, son suddenly left, right? According to the drama, he did not even the last light did, right? As a result, the light was disconnected, electricity was disconnected. In that crisis, he left, right? He left, right? Putting all these people, all these two in trouble, right? Then that guilty consciousness plays a role in the drama, right? So it is said that, now I told you it's a memory play, right? Okay. So after Tennessee, it's a memory play, right? You should know what a memory play means. Somebody's memory is acted out on the stage, right? Memory is acted out on the stage, and the memory play is explained in my book, right? Then I think it is, you can find on internet also in my article. I normally deal with main techniques of the drama. When you are putting your memory on the stage, you don't put it in the sequential order. There's no order as such, right? Sequential order. There's no sequential order. What he puts on the stage is that the things he remembered best, right? The most remembered things are put on the stage and others are left out, right? Okay. Then that may not be in sequential order, but there is a sequential order in the drama, right? Drama has a certain flow, and which goes to climax at the end, right? Which goes to climax at the end. So there's certain flow, right? So that's a good thing of it, right? So it's sometimes some critics say that this particular drama is actually like to be acted out on the stage, and it's meant to be read also, right? It's even through reading you can enjoy this drama, because it is all the things, all the description, all the things that happen on the stage are meticulously and accurately described, right? All are accurately described. So no harm in reading the drama and understand, right? But most of the drama is, I told you last day, drama is meant to be either performed on the stage or to be watched, right? Either perform on the stage or to be watched. But this drama can be read as well, right? And you can read it like a novel, right? One thing is that it's a memory play, right? Somebody's memory brought out on the stage, right? Whose memory is brought out on the stage? We know whose memory is brought out on the stage in this drama?
Amanda's son.
Amanda's memory.
Amanda's son.
What's his name? Tom, right? Tom tells the story. Now I have given this, if you could see, can you see this? Can you draw this? Is it clear enough? Can you draw this? This is Winfields, right? Only 4 characters we find in the story. 3 are Winfields. That is mother Amanda Winfield, daughter Laura Winfield, and Tom, son Tom Winfield. And there is another character coming at the end of the drama, that is gentleman caller, Jim. Right? And father is also mentioned there. Father is not a character, he's just a photograph. Right? Mr. Winfield is just a photograph. Right? So 3 Winfields and Jim, only 4 characters on the stage, only 4 characters in the drama. Right? Did you draw this?
So can you please screen share a photo? I can't see the letters clearly.
You can't see the letters clearly. How is it now? Letters are not clear.
Now okay, sir.
Now okay,
yes.
sir. Yeah.
Take a
Yeah,
photograph.
now okay, sir.
Draw it or take a photograph. The Winfields, right? 3 Winfields and 1 outsider, right? 1 outsider in the story, right? Okay. All right, no? Right. Then Amanda, the mother, Tom, the son, and the narrator. The story, it's a beautiful narration. Remember, this is before Maname, right? Maname was staged in 1956, but even at that time, they had in American theater, they had modern dramas, right? So I have to tell you something about this American theater, this mid-20th American theater. Write that down. The mid-20th American theater. Actually, that era was dominated by two dramatists, right? One is Tennessee Williams, the other one is Arthur Miller, right? One is Tennessee Williams, the other one is Arthur Miller. I told you even on that day, right? These 2 dramatists seriously question American dream, right? American dream, right? And the American dream. What do you mean by the American dream? American dream is that they believe if you are smart and talented, right? You are smart and talented, you can go up on the social ladder, right? You can go up on the social ladder and you can end up being yourself, like in the White House. You can be even the president of the country, right? If you are so determined, if you are talented and smart, there is a path in America, right? Talents are identified, talented people can go up on the social ladder. There is a clear path, a clear road, right? No barriers as such, right? But both, here the gentleman caller is an example of that one, that is the Glass Menagerie, right? And by Arthur Miller, write that down, Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, right? Prove that, right? Glass Menagerie and Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller prove that, right? American dream is not so practical, right? American dream is not always a reality, right? American dream is not always a reality, right? That is proven by these two dramatists. So these 2 dramatists are famous as those who question American dream seriously for the first time, right? Those who question American dream for the first time, right? When everybody is lost in American dream, right? When America was going in great guns, this is at the time of Second World War, America was the leading country. They are the one who put these bombs to Japan, right? Okay, so they were the dominant country, but right, these people question, right, how practical this is. Then right, try to find now he did the Crucible, the Death of a Salesman, then All My Sons, like great dramas, right? I am referring to Arthur Miller, right? Then this man, the dramas I did, both are contemporary dramatists now. Death of a Salesman is 1949, right? 1949. Streetcar Named Desire is 1947, right? 1947. Mid American theater, mid 20th century, right? Mid 20th century. So there was lot of experiments going on in American theater at that time, right? Remember, when literature is developed, the country is also developed, right? Development of literature means kind of literature being well recognized, well established, well appreciated, which means that countries are developed, right? Before Japan becomes a very developed country, their literature was developed, right? Even now, there's good literature in China. American literature is always rich, right? British literature was very rich when Britain was going with great guns, right? Now it's not as good as Victorian literature, right? Okay, then I introduce three characters, right? Mainly four characters, three, right? Three. One is Amanda, right? Amanda is the binding force, and she's a very sacrificing character, right? She says that it was a solitary battle. Husband left, but she raised these two children single-handedly, right? She's such a courageous woman. She doesn't give up. She doesn't give up, right? She doesn't give up. Then, and she always wants her children to do so well, right? She always wants her children to do well, and she doesn't like to, and her courageous nature, she doesn't like to accept the defeat, right? She's in a way very optimistic, sometimes too optimistic, too positive, especially towards her children, right? Especially towards her children. But as she's also confronted with so many problems, right? There is escapism as well, right? All three characters, the one common weakness is that escapism, right? හැමතිස්සෙම අර fantasy එකේ අතරමං වෙලා right? Lost in a fantasy, right? Lost in a fantasy. That fantasy is the escapism, right? So Amanda's fantasy is this gentleman callers, right? Gentleman callers. She always narrates that story to her children, saying that, right? When I was young, there were 17 gentlemen callers, and even the chairs were not enough. They have to borrow chairs from some restaurant or something close by, right? Okay, that means 17 young men who came to seeking her hand, right? At one day, or on one day, right? Okay, 17 young men, and she's so fascinated by that kind of gentlemen who came, right? Some were rich, some were pronounced, some, it is said that some never married, maybe, and they carried a photograph of photograph of Amanda in their pockets. Likewise, now she's so proud of it, right? That is her fantasy, right? Okay, but she's such a real mother, even the same kind of mother that we find in our country right now, right? Always very much dedicated herself for the children, right? Children is her life, right? That is her life, right? Then that is Amanda, right? Okay, then Laura is actually the central character, right? The glass manager is connected to her. Laura is a girl with a very small defect in walking, right? Again, right? Very small defect in walking, but she's suffering from inferiority complex. That is said by Jim at towards the end of the end of the drama also. But you don't need to wait till end of the drama to understand that she's suffering from inferiority complex, right? She's such a beautiful girl. So all the time, to employ this character, they have now the dramatists have selected beautiful girls. Now she's a beautiful girl, right? She's a beautiful girl. This glass, one of the glass items that contains a glass manager is in her hand, right? I have taken another version, another photo of this one inside. Now this is a beautiful girl toying with this glass menagerie, right? Okay, glass menagerie is a small set of animals made of glass, right? You can see at the, now can you see the glass menagerie here? Can you see this? Is it clear? the small glass items. Is that clear? No. That's clear, no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay. Right? That is glass managery. Okay, you can search all these photographs have been taken from the internet. Right? When you search images, you find glass managery, right? A lot of images, right? So I was describing Laura, right? So Laura has had a crush, right? When she was going to school. Now Laura has left the school. Now she's not so, I mean, she's still young. She has left the school 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago, maybe 24, 25, like, right? Then she had that crush, and that crush was Jim. Then he was a very prominent boy in the class, in the school, and he was the leader of the debate team and all, very good sportsman. And he had a connection with a girl also, to whom she's jealous of, that Laura is jealous of. But they were he was calling her blue roses, right? Mispronunciation of blue roses. When she was absent for some days, he asked, "Why were you absent?" Then she says, "Blue roses." He heard it as blue roses. Then he continues to call her blue roses, right? Dilini, who calls whom blue roses? Dilini Fernando. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? You don't hear me?
Sir, we can hear you.
Yes, Nirasha. Now, who calls blue roses to whom?
Jim calls Laura blue roses.
Calls Laura. Yes. Have you done this drama before, Nirashi?
No, sir, I have read.
That's good. Right? Okay, that's good. And it's a very interesting reading, no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So when we discuss it, it will be more interesting. Right? Then Tom is the son, right? Who is frustrated. One thing is that why Tom is so frustrated, this mother, as I told you, as father left early, right? So she's over obsessed with the son, and she wants all the time. She's very concerned about the son, right? That has become a nuisance for Tom, right? So he wants to get away from this. I mean, he feels that he's all the time tied down by mother, right? Tied down by mother. All the instructions, as I told you, when the drama begins, she gives instructions for him how to eat, right? Then he's dreaming. Now he likes to likes to experience adventure, but as he have not as he has no chance to experience adventure, he goes to see adventurous films, right? Through adventurous films, right? Through adventure films, he enjoys this adventure, right? And his one of the escapism of him is that, right? That is his escapism is, now I told you, have that in your mind. Amanda's escapism is Blue Mountain fantasy, that is 17 gentlemen callers, right? Laura's fantasy is that glass menagerie. She was suffering when she's getting lost in that small tiny little glass animals, and she feels that they have life, right? They have an age, and she likes to get lost in that one. And father has left certain records, that is a color something like cassette pieces, right? She likes to listen to those records that father has left, right? Because maybe that she had a certain memory of the father, right? But Tom can't basically remember who the father, because when he left he was too young, right? Then that is Laura's escapism. Then Tom's escapism is that going to see films all the time, and right, he writes poetry and all. Then the other escapism is one of the common escapism of people of weak personalities. What is that, Nirasha? What is the other escapism of Tom? Right? I told you it's a common escapism of.
Addicted,
Huh? Yes, good. What is it?
addicted to alcohol.
Alcoholism. Yes. Right? Alcoholism. Right? Getting drunk to forget problems and forget this, to get over this pressure put by the mother. Right? So all three characters, right, use all three characters. The common feature of all these characters is, common weakness of all these three characters is escapism, right? They all like, they don't like to face the challenge, of course, and they get, that's natural. So it is said that when the cost of living is going higher, cheap tickets are sold more, right? When the cost of living is higher, sweep tickets are sold more because people like to get lost in fantasy, right? When you have too many troubles, that is natural. Otherwise, you can't deal with life, right? Then, so themes and other things we will discuss later, right? I just introduce the writer, that is the dramatist, Tennessee Williams, right? And read more about him. And I introduced the three main characters. And Jim is, of course, Laura's crush, right? The boy who was the boy whom Laura was interested in, right? He comes as a friend of Tom, as a gentleman caller towards the end of the drama, right? In a way, it is kind of realization of now the Laura's expectations are coming into real form, like, right? Laura was in love with him over the years, right? Suddenly he appears at home, right? Then how it happens, and that encounter is also very important, right? And what happens afterwards, right? I'm not going to tell you. You better read and understand. It's an interesting drama, right? Okay, something to do with this psychological sufferings of all the characters, right? So that is why this is famous as expressionist play, right? Expressionist play means, expressionism means psychological sufferings are brought out, right? You should remember, normally in drama we deal with physical suffering. Now Shakespeare dealt with physical suffering, right? Okay, now do you want to hear ask something, Harshini? You have raised hand.
It was
Harshini?
an accident. No, sir, it was accidentally happened.
Right, no problem. Right, accidentally raise hand, no? Right.
Yeah.
uh, what did I say now? Yes, right. Psychological sufferings are brought onto the stage, right? Okay, right. I hope that is why we call it expressionism, right? We'll be talking about them later. Then Mr. Winfield is a missing character. I told you he has already left, right? But when the curtain raises, there's a huge photograph of Mr. Winfield at the back of the stage, right? That is in the living room of Winfield's house, right? That dominant, prominent, huge photograph is also a part of character, right? Part of the drama, right? Part of the drama. He's gone, but his I mean the loss that he created in the family is so much felt by everyone, right? So much felt by everyone, right? Likewise, you got to understand it in that way, right? So there are, let's, in that case, there are 5 characters. What are the 5 characters? That is 3 Winfields, Jim, and sorry, 4 Winfields, right? But he doesn't have a character normally, right? Then wait, this connection went out, right? Give me a second. I'll be getting connected again. Yeah, what is it? Right, right. Okay. Then, right. So we'll start the drama, right? Okay. Now I think you have got hard copies. Then you have to underline, right? Then here, scene one. The Winfield apartment is in the rear of building of one who's vast, right? Then we can go all the lines line by line. Underline third line. Overcrowded urban centers of lower middle class population, right? Overcrowded urban centers of lower middle class population. Everything is everything is explained so well, right? Everything is explained so well, right? Then by the writer, right? Then symptomatic of the impulses of their largest and fundamentally enslaved section of American society. Underline enslaved section of American society. Put a mark there. That is important. He introduces this set of people as enslaved, right? Right? This is lower middle class of American society, right? Lower middle class of America. They are the one who are right. And I couldn't tell you now. Tom is working as a Tom is working in a shoe factory, right? Shoe factory in where he was badly exploited, right? His labor is exploited, right? And he's fed up with his job, right? He doesn't like, because he's an artistic man. I mean, man with an aesthetic sense, right? So there he can do nothing in this shoe factory, but right, he has a great responsibility to run his family, right? Because father has left, right? And mother and sister are living in the house. Mother is doing some odd jobs, but sister is right, all at home, right? So he has to run the family. He became the breadwinner at a very young age. That pressure is there, right? Tom, right? Okay. Enslaved section of American society. Then the apartment faces an alley. Second passage, an entirely fire escape. This fire escape can be a symbol in the drama, right? A structure whose name is then for all, because it's everybody's trying to escape through fire, maybe, right? You might get burned, right? And huge buildings, underline, are always burning with the slow, implacable fires of human desperation, right? That's a very nice description by Tennessee Williams, right? Huge buildings are always, that is the people who are living in them, that is apartment houses, right? Very small apartment houses in New York or somewhere. This is totally urbanized, right? Okay, burning with slow and implacable fires, right? Of human desperation, right? Fires of human desperation. All the majority of human desperate, right? Not knowing what to do and aimless, right? Living for the sake of living, right? Okay, desperate, right? The scene is memory and therefore not realistic. Underline next passage, first line, right? And then as it's a memory play, right? So the stage is not well lighted, right? It's rather dim, right? When the environment is dim, the memory activates, right? Memory is powerful, right? Especially, you know that memory comes to us when you are in the dark, when you are at night on the bed, not sleeping, right? When you are right in the darkness, memory comes, not merely in the darkness, even when you are traveling in buses and all that, memory comes and goes. And whenever you are there, if you are not sleeping, there's some sort of a memory in your mind or something you are thinking all the time, right? Then downstage is the living room, right? So this is the set, right? The whole passage describes the set, right? The set, right? Okay, right? Put a sangala bracket there and write the set, right? Downstage is the living room, which always serves as a sleeping room for Laura, right? Then about 5 lines down, a blown up photograph of father hangs on the wall of the living room, underline. a blown up photograph of the father hangs on the wall of living room, facing the audience. The left, and then right, handsome young man in down base First World War cap. That is, he was an army officer in or whatever in the First World War. He's gallantly smiling, ineluctably smiling, as if to say, I will be smiling forever. Underline, I'll be smiling forever. That is the message given in the photograph, right? That is the message given in the photograph. Of course, there's a good drama version. I can't share it, so I will share it and show you, right? Then Tom comes onto the stage, right? Tom comes onto the stage, right? He's the narrator of the play, right? Tom enters dressed as a merchant sailor, about small 2 passages down, right? Tom enters dressed as a merchant sailor, right? Merchant sailor. So this is one of his dreams, to be a merchant sailor, right? Nirasha, did you underline all the things I said? Harshini?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Then Tom says, I have tricks in my pocket. I have things up on my sleeve, but I am opposite of stage magician. He used to illusion that was the apparent of truth, and I give you truth in the pleasant disguise of illusion. Underline. Right? I give you the truth in, right? Then I begin. To begin, I turn back time. Underline. I turn back time. I reverse it to the quiet period of the 30s. Underline the 30s. 1930s in America, when the huge middle class of America, underline, was matriculating in a school for the blind. So he says the huge middle class of America is being blind, right? They don't see the reality. Their eyes have failed them, or they have failed in their eyes, underline, right? Either whatever it is, right? They have become blind, or they have made to become blind, right? Okay, their eyes had failed, or failed their minds. Then the brilliant alphabet of a dissolving economy, underline. So there is a kind of criticism of this dissolving economy, that is maybe free economy where anything can happen. So American economy is that, right? You could do anything, right? So you can buy guns and pistols over the counter, right? No hard and fast rule. Anybody can buy a pistol over the counter. And those days it is said in Chicago, every minute one person is killed, like, right? This underworld, robbery, all those things, right? American, the free society, they say, okay, land of freedom, right? When whatever you are, you can do whatever you like, right? You can live in the way you want, right? In Spain, there was revolution, right? But he says in America, only shouting and confusion, disturbance of labor and social background. Then he says this is the social background to the play, right? Social background to the play. So deals with middle class who are being blind, right? This is 1930s in America, right? So this earlier also it is said this is at fire, right? Of human desperation, right? At fire of human desperation. Then he continues. There's some music. Then he continues. The play is memory. Underline. Being a memory play, it's dimly lighted. It's sentimental. Underline. Right? It's not realistic. Right? Things happen not in the way it happens in reality. In memory, everything seems to happen to music. Underline. Right? So music plays an important role in the drama. Right? And the narrator of the play, and also the character in it. Right? The only characters, the other characters are, underlined, all are introduced. He introduced, right? Other characters are my mother, Amanda, my sister, Laura, and a gentleman caller who appears in the final scene. Underline. So he appears in the, right? He's the most realistic character in the play, right? Others are lost in fantasy, right? He's the most realistic character in the play. However, but since I have one line afterwards, since I have a poetic license, right? Poet's weakness for symbols, underline. Poet's weakness for symbol, that is, you don't need to be realistic all the time, right? I am using this character also as a symbol, underline, right? It's a symbolic character. It is said at the beginning, right? What he symbolizes, right? He is the long delayed but always expected something that we live for, underline, right? We are always expecting something to happen. That is long delayed, but still we expect, right? So that is represented by this gentleman caller. Remember, this is before Waiting for Godot, right? Samuel Beckett in Waiting for Godot developed this as the main theme, right? The two characters are waiting for Godot to come, but Godot never appears. The drama ends, right? But he says long delayed, but always expected something that we live for. We are living for that one, but long delayed may not come, right? Then this is the there's fifth character, right? So he says then a second line in this larger than life size photograph. ඇත්තම size එකට වඩා ලොකු කරලා තියෙන photograph over the mantle. This is our father who left us a long time ago, underline. That is the photograph is Mr. Winfield, right? He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distances. The last we heard of him was a picture postcard, underline, sent from Mazatlan on the Pacific coast of Mexico, right? And only 2 words were there, right? Underline, only 2 words: hello, goodbye, right? No address, right? But sending a card, hello, goodbye, right? He's, I think, as far as escapism is concerned, he's the biggest escapist, right? He could not. There are people like that, right? The girls, of course, should be very careful, right? There are people I have met in my life, and I have seen in our families and all. They could not take the responsibilities of married life. Once they got married, now they could not hold to that responsibilities. Then they left, right? This man is or somebody like that, right? So that is something to lack with personality, and you must decide before marriage if you are so. Okay, I'm not a person who can't take up that responsibility, so I better not to marry, right? But once he married and had the 2 children, right? So he could not, right, live up to the expectations of a husband and a father. So he escaped, right? He escaped, right? So in that case, that's what I feel all the time, that women are more, women are better personalities than men sometimes, right? Right? So they tolerate, they face to, they live up to the task, right? They rise for the occasion, right? So that's it. It's a good example, the Amanda, right? If Amanda also has left these 2 children, they will be on the road, right? Men can easily sometimes get away, women can't, women don't, right? That right then. So he devised the portrait, and then yes, right, goodbye, and then scene begins, right? Amanda is calling Tom, right? In between, I am not reading everything, you have to read. Tom, yes mother. Then, as I told you, instructions. Then one before, one after next dialogue. Chew. Animals have sections in their stomach, right? Chew their food before they swallow it down. So chew your food, right? Underline one before the last line. Chew your food and give your slavery times, right? So that's what I told you, starting with giving instructions. And to well-grown man, you don't like to be instructed how to eat. He's not a small boy, right? Then Tom says to Laura, I haven't enjoyed one bite of this dinner because of your, no, sorry, Amanda. Tom says to Amanda, I haven't enjoyed one bit of this dinner because of your constant directions, underline, right? Constant direction. This is the problem. mother is overoccupied with the son, right? So parents should understand that one, right? You should not interfere for all the things. You have to give kind of freedom that they need, right? At the same time, you have to have the control as well, right? Then you are not excused from the table, right? Then I'm getting cigarette, you smoke too much, right? Underline. Then all are restrictions, right? Then Amanda, right? Resume your seat, and little sister, I want you to get fresh and then this is they are at their dining table, and Laura is trying to get trying to go to bring the dessert. So Amanda says, "Fresh your resume your seat, little sister. I want you to stay fresh and pretty for gentlemen callers." Underline. I want, right? So mother says, daughter, I want you to stay fresh and pretty for gentlemen callers. Then Laura says, I'm not expecting any gentlemen callers, right? Then sometimes they come when they are least expected, right? I remember one Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain, underline. So this is what I call you, Blue Mountain fantasy. She's living in that Blue Mountain fantasy. I know what coming. Tom says, all the time she's telling this, and right, it has become a hackneyed topic, right? Then Laura says, but let her tell it again. She loves to tell. Then your mother, then Amanda says, one Sunday afternoon, Blue Mountain, underline, your mother received 17 gentlemen callers. Why? Sometimes there weren't enough chairs, underline, weren't enough chairs, right? They had to bring chairs from nearby house, right? Then in my case, now next page, 2 dialogues down, Amanda says, girls in those days knew how to talk, right? Girls in those days knew how to talk, right, Amanda? Then, so then, original drama, there's another technique used by Tennessee Williams, that is screen image, right? So at the front part of the theater, there is screen image. Multimedia projector in project screen. There is a screen, right? The things are projected from the back, right? Stage in the screen, things happen. Now when she's calling about when she's talking about gentlemen callers, there is an image of gentlemen callers, a boy fully formally dressed with a bouquet in his hand, and taps the door, right, to offer his proposal, like, right? Then අපේ ඉන්න මනමාලියෝ බලන්න මෙතන මනමාලි බලන්න එකක් හරි මනමාලි බලන්න 17 gentlemen callers have ඔක්කොම එක සැරේ invite කරලා එයාට තෝරගන්න කෙනෙක්, right? This bride gets a chance to select one, right? Then they knew how to entertain their gentlemen callers, underline. At that time, they knew how to right then. So then, last line of that dialogue, to have a nimble wit and a tongue to meet all occasions. So they knew how to use tongue for all occasions, right? Whether it is a happy occasion or sad occasion, or right? What did you talk about then? All among my callers were some of the, then she's saying, she's describing those 17, right? The most prominent young planters, underline, right? Next dialogue about maybe towards the end of that dialogue, some of the most prominent planters at that time, the planters, even there was a lot of space, less people, more land, right? Then a screen, there is a song on the screen, right? Even before that, Amanda as a girl on a porch greeting callers. Amanda read right? Then hardly Stevens, one who was drowned in Moon Lake. Henley Stevens, one who was drowned in Moon Lake and left his window, right? So they shot out of his floor. Then his widow was all well provided, right? So when they got married, they married rich, right? Sorry, they died rich, right? Then she married him on the never loved her, right? Carried my picture on him the night he died, right? They said when he died, when you search his pocket, you find what? You find Amanda's photograph in his pocket, right? So what did he leave his widow? He never married, right? So then then there's another boy. He had the Midas touch underlined. Amanda says, spirituous boy, he had the Midas touch. Midas touch means such a great luck that whatever you touch, it turns into gold, right? අපි කියන්නේ මාර ලක් එකක් තිබුණේ යන තැන කල්ලන හැමදේම රත්තරන් වෙනවා. Midas touch, right? Okay, whatever he touches turn to gold, right? Which means that very, very lucky man. But I would all these people came looking for my hands, right? Seeking my hand, wishing to marry, but I picked your father, underline. But I picked your father. No, dear, you, right? Then, right, your typewriter chart, no, dear, you go and in front of them, Amanda says to Laura, study your typewriter chart. Now, by this time, she's going to typewriting class. You know, those days, you have to train that. Typewriting is a separate skill, right? Now with the introduction of the computer, everything has become so easy. Those days, the stenographer and typing and stenography classes, the young girls used to go to be a clerk, right? Stay fresh and pretty. It's almost time for our gentleman callers to start arriving, underline, right? So Amanda says to her daughter, like I received 17 gentleman callers earlier, right? When I was young, now time has come for you to welcome gentleman callers, right? Then Laura says, I don't believe we are going to receive any mother, underline, right? So mother is so confident. Laura is the opposite of it, right? Laura is thinking very low of herself, right? Amanda is thinking very high of herself and her children, right? So that is the difference of these two main. Then music, the glass menagerie under faintly, there's glass menagerie music. I don't believe, right? Then afterwards, the end of scene 1, right? Then music, and then not one gentleman caller. It cannot be true. Amanda says, right? There must be a flood. There must be a flood, right? Maybe a lot of boys coming to see you, right? Gentlemen. Then Laura, it isn't flood. It's not a tornado, mother. I'm just not popular like you were in Blue Mountain, underline. I'm not just popular like you were in Blue Mountain, right? So the first scene is done, right? Scene 1 is done. What is done in scene 1, Dilini? Nirasha, now you ready, no? Right? Now,
Yes.
now act 1, that is scene 1. What is normally what is done by the dramatist now, that what he's trying to do in the first scene? He's introducing the Winfield,
Introducing the characters.
right? So he's introducing the Winfield family, right? The audience is given some kind of understanding towards what sort of a person Tom is, what sort of a person Amanda is, and what sort of a person Laura is. Okay, Laura is not so much exposed in the scene. Laura is right, but we get some certain understanding towards Tom, and because Tom tells his story at the beginning, and Amanda also shares a fantasy, right? And we understand something about Laura is that she's a very shy girl without confidence, right? Shy girl without confidence, right? That is act 1, right? Then scene 1, scene 2. Laura is seated in the delicate aisle. Then she's washing and polishing her collection of glass, right? Whenever she's free, she's attending to this glass manager, right? Glass manager. What she's doing? She's polishing and wiping off and all, right? This glass menagerie, right? This glass menagerie. Okay. Then Glass menagerie, right? Then swiftly before the diagram of the typewriter, then keyboard, then there on the wall, there's a typewriter keyboard display. Something has happened, right? Amanda comes in a very disappointing and angry face, right? On a very disappointing, in a very disappointing and angry face. It's written on her face as she climbs to the landing. A look that is grim and hopeless, underlined. A look that is grim and hopeless and a little absurd. That sort of a look is there on Amanda's, the mother's face, right? Then Laura's, hello mother, I was, right? Then Amanda says, deception, underline. Vanchava, Ravatilla, right? Okay. Then how was the meeting? She went for a meeting, that is, she's actually online giving counseling, like, right? Okay. Amanda is giving online counseling. You find examples also. Then there's a meeting of that or something, she goes, right? Then the meeting, right? That is kind of organization, right? Amanda slowly, then handkerchief, she makes out delicate and delicate. Then, did you go to the meeting, mother? No, I did not have the strength, underline, to go to the da. In fact, I did not have the courage, underline, right? She goes slowly and removes a diagram of the tree. It was typewriting diagram at the back of the stage. That is torn, right? Okay. Removes the diagram of the typewriting keyboard. Why did you do that, mother? Laura asked. Why? Why? How old are you, Laura? Mother, you know my age. I thought you were an adult, underline. It seems that I was mistaken. Please don't stare at me, mother. Right? What are you going to do, underline? What is going to be? Come of us. What is going to happen to us? What is the future, underline? Right? What is the future? So this particular question is the main concern. What will be the future of my children? What will be the main future of Laura? Right? Because she's like a home bird at home, right? Thinking very low of herself, right? Mother, has something happened? Underline, Laura asks, right? Then image is given swamp of typewriters, right? But I stopped, right? Then she says, on my way to the meeting, I stopped off the Rubicam's Business College, right? Now, these days, Laura is studying typewriting in this business school. She's going early in the morning and comes in the evening. 6 months course or something, right? But I stop on the Rubicam's Business College to speak to your teachers, underline, about your having called and asked them what progress. Oh, then Laura says, oh, right? Now Laura understands everything. I went to the typing instructor and introduced myself as your mother, right? I said, I'm Laura's mother. She did not know who you were, right? Winfield, she said, we don't have any such student enrolled at the school. She said, no, we don't have a girl in that name, right? I assured that she did. And then I wonder, she said, if you would be talking about then after explaining, now this is that one, a terribly shy little girl who dropped out of the school after only few days, underline attendance. I said, Laura, my daughter, then going to school every day for the past 6 weeks. Then, no. She did not drop her classes. Past 6 weeks, she regularly came to the came to this course. Then they said, you were absent until they decided that you had dropped out of the school, underline, right? You were absent until they decided that. Then I still said, no, there must be some mistake. And she said, no, I remember her perfectly now. Her hand shook so that she could not hit the right keys. When she was given practice to type, her hands were shaking. The instructor said, right? And she broke down completely. She was sick at the stomach, underline. When she was doing the practice, she was sick at the stomach. After that morning, she never showed up anymore, right? she got sick and we had to carry her to the bathroom, right, washroom. After that morning, she never showed up anymore. She never came to our classes, right? That instructor said. Then Laura, oh, then, right? So I felt so weak, I could barely keep my feet. And then, right, $50 tuition, right? And all our plans, right? Laura say, sorry, Amanda says $50 tuition, all our plans, right? My hopes and ambition for you just gone up the spout, just gone up spout like that. People like, yeah, right. So that is when she says, then what are you doing? Oh, Laura, where have you been going when you have gone on pretending that you were going to business college, underline. So she did not have, Laura did not have courage to say that I stopped going to classes, right? I can't continue these typing classes. Instead, she did not go to class. She goes from home in the morning and she's hanging around in the parks and right in the zoos and sees animals and all, and comes back in the evening. Right? Dilini, did you understand what I said? Dilini?
Yes, sir.
Right? So she's pretending that she's going to classes, right? And goes there in the morning. In the morning, she pretends that she's going to take and hang around different places and comes in the evening, right? Okay, for six weeks, she does the same thing, right? Then where have you been? So then Laura says, I have just been going walking. That's not true, right? Then why didn't you go? Then even if you start catching the cold, it was lesser of the evil. Catching cold is okay, rather than being at home and facing this situation. Image winter scene in the park. Thaniyam Park wildlife scene. I couldn't go back there. I threw up on the floor, underline. Right? I was down on the floor. I could not go back. From 7:30 till the 5 every day. You mean to tell me that you walk around the parks, right? Okay. 7:30 she leaves, right? Then 5:30 she comes, right? Now Amanda is asking, you were parking almost 12 hours, like almost 10 hours, right? Where did you go? I answered, then I went in the art museum, underline. I went in the art museum, bird houses, zoo. I visited the penguins every day, right? Then almost any afternoon in the jewel box, cutie items, that big glass house where they raise the tropical flowers, right? The big glass house where they raise the tropical flowers. You did all this to deceive me, underline. Just for deception. You did everything to cheat me, right? Mother, when you are disappointed, you get that awful suffering look on your face, like the picture of Jesus mother in museum. I couldn't face it, underline. I couldn't face it and put a mark there, right? So that is the problem Laura has. What is the problem Laura has? Bimal Kika. Bimal Kika, can I hear you? Bimal Kika or Bimal Kika? Absent. Huh? Absent. Sandani Jayasingh, can I hear you?
Yes, sir.
I couldn't face it means what? Laura says I couldn't face it. She did not have courage. She doesn't have confidence, right? She doesn't have confidence to tell the truth to mother, right? Okay, I can't do this. Instead, she goes in the morning and comes in the evening. But she should know that this secret will be revealed one day. But she could not face it, right? Amanda, right? The stay home and watch the parrots go by. What are you going to do? Amanda asking, right? Second line of that next dialogue. Stay home and watch the parrots go by. Amuse ourselves with the glass menagerie, darling. Eternally play those worn out photograph records your father left as a painful reminder. Are you going to listen to those recordings and being lost in glass menagerie all the time? Right? Then 3 lines down. What is there to left but dependency all our lives? Underline. Dependency all our lives. I know so well that, well, what becomes of unmarried women who aren't prepared to occupy a position? Underline. I know so well that, well, what becomes of unmarried women who aren't prepared to occupy a position? Either you have to do a job and be unmarried, or without doing a job, if you get unmarried, you are lost. Right? You are lost. That is what, it's a real tragedy, she says. Right? I don't want you to have that sort of a tragedy. Right? Okay. So she wants her daughter to be settled. Right? Daughter to be settled. Then 4 lines down, she says, to visit another. Little bird-like women without any nest, underlined. Little bird-like women without any sense. That's a beautiful simile she gives. Right? Unmarried girl without a job is like a little bird-like women without any nest. You have to have a nest. Right? You have to have a nest to lay eggs. Right? Then, yes, Laura, I like, right? So then she asks, have you never been interested in boys or any, right? Then Laura says, yes, I like one once, underline. He gave you his picture. No, it's in yearbook, right? Then now she shows the picture. His name was Jim, underline. His name was Jim. Screen image. Jim as a, then that Jim's photograph as a young boy, right, is given in the image. That screen image I told you, projected by the projector, right? Jim as a high school hero bearing a silver cup, right? Armless Banyang and the shorts, right? Okay. Then the operator, the senior class on, he had a wonderful voice. He's a versatile boy, sports and wonderful voice and debate leader, right? Then, and here he is, then he must have had a jolly disposition. Then Amanda says he must be good and handsome. He used to call me Blue Roses, underline. He used to call me Blue Roses. Why did he call you such a name of as that? Then she says, hello. Then she used to call me Hello Blue Roses. Why? Didn't care for the right. So he was living with. He had an affair with a girl called Emily Mace Beck or something. The girl that went out with him, right? So there's jealousy coming in. She never struck me, right? She never struck me. But then finally she said that 6 years ago, they must be married now, right? That 6 years ago, they must be married now. Usually when up married to some nice, then you also should be married to some nice man, underline. But mother, yeah, I am crippled, right? I am crippled. Nonsense, Laura. I have told you never to use that word. Why you are not crippled, underline. You just have a little defect. Right? So here you have to understand that Laura is also exaggerating that defect, right? It's not a very big issue. But at the same time, Amanda is also thinking very lightly of it. Reality is in between, right? Reality is in between. You just have a little defect, hardly noticeable. Even when people have some slight disadvantage like you, they cultivate other things, underline. So they have to match it with other things, other talents, right? Okay. Then finally she says, one thing your father had plenty of was charm. Your father was an attractive character, right? Father was attracted to many. Father was attracted to many, right? Okay. So with that one also, we have come to the end of second scene, right? All right. So so far so good. Vinoda, can I hear you? Vinoda, absent, huh? Nurelia Priya?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Who?
Vinoda.
Vinoda,
Yes. sir.
right? Have you got a hard copy?
Yes, sir. I have.
Did you underline all the things?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear up to that point?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Anything which is not clear? Or anything you want to ask
No, sir.
so far? Okay. Others? Anybody who wishes to ask anything which is not clear? Right? Drama up to this point, we have finished 2 scenes. Right? We go for the break. Anything before that? Nilupa? Is everything clear? Nilupa Fernando.
Sir, I have a question. May I know what you said for the technique that the image appears on the background?
That is a special technique used by Tennessee Williams. Actually, we don't find it in drama. So here, what I'm saying is that if there's the stage, right? Even in a productions you find now the stage is there. A stage at the right corner or left corner, there's a screen, maybe screen of let's say 8 feet width and maybe 6 down, right? Such as white screen. Whenever something is highlighted now, for example, when she says gentleman caller, there's an image of gentleman caller projected to the screen. Then the audience can see it, right? Actors can't see, right? What they discuss is reinforced. What they describe is more described in the image. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. There is no specific name for the technique, right, sir?
Screen image.
Screen image. Okay, thank you, sir.
Screen image is the technique.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else which is not clear? Memory play, I think it's clear. Sachini Disanayaga. Dinali, can I hear you? Fatima,
Excuse me, sir.
who are you?
Sir, I'm Wendy.
Sorry, what's your name?
Wendy. Wendy, sir.
Wendy Dinali.
No, sir, I'm Wendy.
Yes. Have you got anything to ask for that?
Yes, sir. Is that screen image like something like visual thing, like a kind of a memory or something?
Yeah.
Visualize in the memory.
Yeah, it could be memories also elaborated rather than that. With that on the screen, there are certain things that are, for example, later you find that winter scene. The winter scene, of course, cannot be highlighted on the stage. You know? Then the picture of winter, snow falling, and Laura is seated in a bench in a park. That image is given. She was walking the park. Wendy, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now
Thank you.
that cannot be shown on the stage. No?
Yeah.
Things are made clear in the screen image. Got the idea?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, anybody else? Okay, then we go for the break and we'll be starting at 9:40. No, sorry, 9:50. Right? No, 10:50. No, 10:50. 10:50 we are starting. Okay, right? Till then, I will leave and join. All right. Okay. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Right. We are back. Scene 3. Right. They have if you have any questions related to things that I gave an introduction to the drama and we have finished the scene and the second scene, you may ask. Right. Okay. The first scene, 3 main characters are introduced. That is Amanda, Laura, and Jim. Then Tom. Then the second one, we understood we get to know more about Laura, right, and her inferiority complex. What sort of a girl Laura is, right, and we understand understand more of Amanda also, and the way she has taken the responsibility of her mother, what she wishes, and what a responsible mother she is. Okay, and the inability to face the reality on the part of Laura, right? All these things, right? Okay, now Tom. After then so Tom narrates, right? With now when with the failure of Laura, that Amanda tries to put her into some job or kind of, right, find some occupation for her. Then in failing that, Amanda was, then the other option is to give her in marriage. So she was stressing that. The idea of getting a gentleman caller for Laura began to play a more and more important part in mother's calculations underlying, right? So she was, right? It became an obsession, right? Obsession means you are overindulgent with something, right? If you are obsessed with money, you don't do anything. Only thing that you pay attention is money, right? How to earn money, right? There are some people who are obsessed with music. There are some people who are obsessed with education. Even you should not obsess with education. You should not obsess with anything, right? Some people are obsessed with liquor. Some people are obsessed with women, right? Okay. Then likewise, there are obsession is kind of a, right, devastating situation. More important than, right, then it became obsession. Then in the an evening at home really passed without some allusion of this image, right? That is young, now image you find young man at door with flowers, right? Underline that image also, young man at door, that is gentleman caller, right? Then showing that one, Tom says there was no evening pass without talking about this gentleman callers. Gentleman callers is in our Sri Lankan situation, Manamalek, Balan, right? Manamalek, a boy comes to, there is kind of tradition of this, sometimes bullock heppo is offered and welcome. Now those things are not happen, but tea is offered and some food is given, and there's time given for them to talk, right? And that is the way it happens even in Sri Lanka, still happens everywhere, right? Okay. Then mother was right. Mother was a woman of action as well as words, right? Sorry, mother's preoccupied look at my sister's frightened and apologetic manner. So these things he finds the Winfields. And mother was a woman of action as well as words. True. Amanda is, right? Amanda is such a person, right? And take logical steps in planning in directions. Then she conducted a vigorous campaign on the telephone. First, she tried on the telephone to find a person, but it was not successful. Then he was pressurizing Tom to find one of his friends, right? So then American Beauty is also described there. Sublimation of ladies of letters who think in terms of delicate cup-like breasts, slim, tapering waist, rich, creamy thighs, eyes like wood smoke in autumn. So likewise, ideal body shape of American women, right? American woman at that time. So not so fat and slim. Then Amanda is calling. You are a Christian martyr, underlined about 4 lines down. Christian martyr. Martyr means dedicated, I mean, devoted Christian, right? Devoted. Something that you can't miss. You remember how Gone with the Wind and all. Then I told you that on the phone, she's counseling, like, right? Okay. Then Tom comes. What is Kai's name? Then Tom, and sorry. Then suddenly we hear these two fighting, right? The mother and son fighting, argument, heated argument, right? Expressions not of presence. Have you gone out your senses? Underline. Amanda says, I have. That's true. Driven out. What's the matter with you? Big idiot. Underline. I have got nothing, no single thing. Lower your voice. In my life, here that I can call my own. Underline. In my life here that I can call my own. Everything is right. Now what he says is, there is nothing I can call my own. Right, in my life, right? There's nothing. Not it is connected to the sentence before that. I have got nothing, no single thing in my life. There I can call myself. Stop that shouting. Yesterday, then I took that horrible novel back to the library. So argument is mainly, why did you take it? I was reading that one. I took that horrible novel back to the library. That hideous book by the insane Mr. Lawrence, right? Tom laughs, right? Then I cannot control out of the diseased minds and people who care, right? Tom laughs still more. But I won't allow such filth, underline, brought into my house. No, 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 no. Right? Okay. Can anyone tell me who is this Lawrence is? Who this Lawrence is? Can anyone tell me?
So is it D.H. Lawrence?
Yes, very good. That is D.H. Lawrence, right? Refer to D.H. Lawrence. What is the book? This is referred here. Huh? What is the book which is referred here? That is Lady Chatterley's Lover, right? Lady Chatterley's Lover, right? So erotic writing is introduced to English literature by D.H. Lawrence, right? That is real erotism, right? You better read the novel, or you can even watch the movie in which Sylvia Crystal is acted as Lady Chatterley's Lover, but you can't watch that film with children and parents, right? So you have to have it individually, but it's a very good film you must see, right? That is Lady Chatterley's Lover by, I can't remember the film producer. That is then the story based on this novel, Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence, right? Okay, very erotic, right? Then that book was actually banned in America, right? That book was banned in America. So Tennessee Williams is coming against that one, right? So he's criticizing that ban here, right? So he says that these traditional people like her mother, his mother, Tom's mother, they were against for no reason, right? Okay. Then I think till 1960s it was banned. Then only, right? Who pays? No. I bring to my house. Then Thomas house. Who pays the rent on it? Underline, right? Don't you dare to. No, I mustn't say the thing right then. Okay. Likewise, the continues. Then Laura get frightened, right? Okay. So then they are while Laura gets frightened and she's so timid, like, and you will hear more. You know, I want to hear more. I am going out. You come right back. Out. Because I am yano. Come back. Tom Winfield, underline. Again, again, she's so angry, right? Tom Winfield, I'm not through talking to you. Oh no, desperate Tom. Then you are going to listen and no more insolence from you. Then he comes back, right? He comes back when he says that Tom Winfield, he comes back. What do you think I'm at, right? And I know it seems unimportant to you what I'm doing, what I want to, right? Then Amanda says one line afterwards, I don't believe that you go every night to the movies. No, nobody goes to movies night after night, right? Okay, and you come nearly midnight, 2 lines down. come in stumbling, come in stumbling, muttering to yourself like a maniac. You get 3 hours sleep and then you go to work, right? Come at 3 o'clock in the morning and sleep till 6 and get up and go, right? Only 3 hours sleep. How could you live like this, right? Stumbling, bila. So then gets up and go to work in the morning, Amanda, right? Job and jeopardize the security of all of us now. Why you don't have a concern for the family? How do you think we would manage if you were gone, right? Okay, listen. You think I'm crazy about the warehouse? You think I'm in love with the Continental Shoemakers? That is the place he works. You think I want to spend 55 years down here in that? Underline. So, right? Now, are you underlining, Niroshana? Do you
Yes,
find the
sir.
place? Yeah,
Yes,
follow me. If you miss something, tell me, right? 4 lines down. Every time you come in yelling, that good damn, rise and shine, early in the morning, she shouts, rise and shine. That is Amanda, right? Rise and shine. I say myself, how lucky dead people are, underline. How lucky dead people are. But I get up. I go for $65 a month. I give up all that I dream of doing and being ever. And you say, selves, right? You say, I'm very selfish, self. I ever think of why? Listen, if self is what I thought of mother, I would be where he is gone, underline, and she showing the photograph, right? If I'm only thinking about myself, I would have also gone like this man, that is father, right? He left the family, right? When they were so young, right? But I did not do that. I'm working for the family. That is what Tom says, right? Okay, then where are you going? I'm going to movies. I don't believe that lie, right? Then he comes and saying, okay, I'm going to the underworld now. He's mocking, huh? This is a mockery, right? Criminals hang out. Mother, I have joined the Hoogan gang. Hoogan gang means maybe that the underworld thugs, right? අපි කියන්නේ ආවා කල්ලිය කියලා එකක් තියෙන ඉතුරු අන්නේ වගේ කල්ලියක් ගැන Hoogan gang. I'm hired assassin. I'm a hired, I mean, what do you call it, paid killer, right? I'm an assassin. I'm a gunman, right? Right? Killer Wingfield, right? Underline Killer Wingfield, 2 lines down. I'm leading a double life, right? Working and in the evening I'm killing, right? I go to gambling casinos. After getting that money, I go to casino also and play casino there. Then 4 lines down, my enemies plan to dynamite this place. Why? I'm an assassin. I'm an underworld man, right? So my enemies are plan to dynamite this place. Dynamite my now burst. I mean, bomb my house. You will go up on the broomstick, right? Then he says at the end, very happy. So you will go up on broomstick over Blue Mountain with 17 gentlemen callers. You ugly, babbling old witch. Underline and put a mark. So witch is given in capital letters. So that is the most upsetting word there, right? Amanda get a great shock. Even Laura get a great shock with that word, right? Okay. Where do you find witches? Where do you find witches? Nuska, in which drama you find witches?
Macbeth, sir.
Macbeth, right? Macbeth, you find witches now. After this one, we will do Macbeth, right? Okay. Then witch is a very bad woman's character, no? So that is supposed to be, right? And they are traveling on broomsticks. Like they travel like a plane, right? Then when he's drawing his coat and all that, the glass and the coat hits glass menagerie, that is small tiny little glass items, glass animals, right? Oh, she says, my glass menagerie, underline. Laura shouts, right? But Amanda is still stunned. Amanda is shocked. She did not move, right? Ugly witch. She was shocked by that word. You ugly witch, right? Okay. Amanda is so shocked, and that scene is a close up for Amanda and her disappointment, her anger, everything is shown on her face, right? Then scene 4, Tom comes stumbling, right? Vati එනවා ගෙදර, right? The same day, early in the morning, right? Maybe in the midnight. So Laura was so frightened that he would not come back, but Laura was waiting for him, right? Tom, what are you doing? Looking for a donkey. Where have you been all this time? I have been to the movies. All this time at the movies? Underline, right? So then, Laura, did you have to stay through everything? Innocently, Laura asks now. He says that I went to see a show and this is what happened in the show. And then he has gone to see some magic show, right? Tom says, right? Then now it's a lengthy description of the magic person called Kentucky Straight, but a very generous person. I'm referring to the middle of that dialogue, right? It was Ken. Then he gave souvenirs. He pulls from the back pocket and shimmering rainbow color scarf. He gave me this. Underline, this is a magic scarf, right? The magicians are using scarfing. You can have it, Laura. You wave it over the cage and you get a bowl of fish. A bowl of fish. You cover it with the, right? You wave it over the goldfish bow and they fly away canaries. It was a Kurulopiyamara. But the wonderfulest trick of all was the coffin trick. Underline. So, right, we nailed him into a coffin. He got out of the coffin without removing one nail. Right? Then he comes out without, nails are still fixed. He come out without that one. So he says that is the most wonderful trick, because this is in a way foreshadowing, right? Now, what do I say? Then Laura says, Tom, what are you shushing for? You wake mother. Then, it don't take much intelligence, right? Because this is American English. It don't take much intelligence to get yourself into a nailed up coffin, Laura. But who in the hell ever go himself out of one without removing one nail, right? So this is an interesting, underline that one. So this could be foreshadowing, right? What is foreshadowing, Niroshana? Right, Nilupa, anybody who know what do you mean by foreshadowing?
It predicts something is going to happen. It predicts something will happen in the future.
Very good, right? So which means that one day he wants to get away like this, right? Tom also wants to get away like that, like the magician comes out of the coffin without removing a nail. He also wants to escape, right? He also wants to go out, right? Like without damage being done, right? Without damage being done, right? Okay, then that's what he says. Now, how can we go out without removing one nail? Then Tom, right, I will rise. Then the scene comes to an end. Then next day in the morning, right? Tom says, sorry, sitting up slowly. I will now, before that, Amanda comes and shouts, rise and shine, especially coming to Tom, close to Tom, and rise and shine. Then Tom slowly gets up. I will rise, but not shine. I won't shine. Then Laura comes and says, Tom, it's nearly 7. Don't make mother nervous. Tom, speak to mother this morning. Make up with her. Apologize. Underline. So maybe 2 days gone afterwards, right? She won't to me, right? Then she's the one who started not speaking. If you just, then she will, is that such a tragedy, right? Then Tom asks from Laura, her not speaking, is that such a tragedy, right? Please. Now Laura wants to make peace between these two after that incident, because, right, why let's say, why Amanda Sandani, can I hear you?
Yes, sir.
Right? why Amanda does not talk to Tom? Why Amanda does not talk to Tom? You know that? Huh? Roshan Akhtar, why Amanda does not talk to Tom? Madhushika.
He was
Okay.
coming late. He was coming late.
Is that the reason that Amanda doesn't? He has been coming late throughout.
Because of his words, ugly witch on her.
Yeah, because she was blamed as ugly witch. That became a great shock, right? That was a real shock for a mother, right? All that in return, like, right? This was a real shock. So that's why she did not talk to Tom, right? Going soon and in, I get my coat and all. Then Laura says, Laura is asked to go to boutique or bring something, bring butter, right? Then by mother. So she said, why don't you go? Then Laura says, before I go, you should, when she comes, you should talk to your mother. And mother says, Amanda says to Laura, tell your brother that coffee is ready, right? Tell your brother that coffee is ready. Then she leaves. And Tom, right? Laura, I'm right. I slipped out. Then Laura leaves for the shop or for the boutique, right? Then Amanda comes close to Tom. Tom is having his cup of coffee, and Amanda coughs, right? Music under Ave Maria. There, the stage direction underline Amanda coughs, which means that Amanda wants, and Tom raises up his cup, right? Amanda wants him to talk to her, right? Then in a hoarse, in a rough voice, mother Tom says, "Mother, I apologize, mother." Right? 2 lines down. I am sorry for what I said. Right? For everything that I said, I didn't mean it. Then Amanda starts crying, sobbingly. My devotion has made me a witch, and so I make myself hateful to my children. No, you don't. I worry so much. Don't sleep. It makes me nervous. Underline. I can't sleep these days, and it makes me nervous. I understand that. I had put up a solitary battle all these years. Underline. I have had to put up a solitary battle all these years. That's a very important quotation, right? Okay. So this is actually a solitary battle by Amanda, right? Solitary battle by Amanda. I told you that when they were very young, husband left, but she did not give up everything. She did not give up her children, right? It was a solitary battle, and she raised the 2 kids, right? They are not great success, but still, right? You never let them suffer, right? That is the responsibility of a mother, responsibility of a parent, right? Okay. My devotion has made me, right? Then that's a solitary battle all these years, but you are my right hand power, right? Don't fall down, don't fail, underline, right? So without your support, I can't do this. You are my right hand power, means because you are the only boy and you are the only one who is earning for this family, right? So don't fail, right? Then I try my best, right? So then she says, both my children, they are unusual children. Don't you think I know it? I'm so proud, happy. I feel I have so much to be thankful for, but promise me one thing, son. So she says, I'm very proud of my children. They are exceptionally well. So that is what mothers, that is the way mothers think, right? Okay, promise me once, what? Son, you will never be a drunkard, underline. You will never be a drunkard. I will never be a drunkard, mother. That's what frightened me, because, right? Just coffee, then, now, then, right? Your father, because his father was drinking too much, so he doesn't, she doesn't want son to be the father, like, right? Okay, to cool it. No, I know, but it's not good for you. You now, Amanda says, you have to do all that. We can build ourselves up, right? So in these trying times, we are trying to be successful. This is a struggle, right? We are struggling to be a family and be independent, right? We live in all that we have to cling to is each other, underline, right? When we are having this battle of raising our situations in the society, that means, right, we are fighting to survive and fighting to get settled in our society. The only thing we have to do is to cling to each other, right? We have to go together, right? Okay, so what she says is that the famous saying, right? Divided we fall, united we stand, right? Divided we fall, united we stand. So we have to stick to each other. Otherwise, we can't go this journey. It's a very hard journey, right? It's a solitary battle, right? I need your support. That is what mother says. She's a courageous woman, right? What's mother? What you want to discuss? Laura. So she says, I sent Laura because I want to discuss with you about Laura. Yes, then you know how Laura is so quiet. Still water runs deep, right? Quiet punata, hari depth eකට යනවා. She doesn't talk much, but still water runs deep, right? So then what about, right? Then she says, one day when I was coming home, she was crying. Right? She was crying. What about you? Right? Me? She has an idea that you are not happy here. What gave you that idea? Maybe that I'm not criticizing, understand. I know your ambitions do not lie in the warehouse, underline. I know that your ambitions don't lie in your working place. In that way, she's understanding, right? That like everybody in the whole world, you have had to make sacrifices, underline. Like everybody in the world, people have to make sacrifices sometimes, right? You won't be able to do whatever you like to do in your life all the time. You can't do, because there are, because of other people around, because of your near and dear ones, you have to make sacrifices, right? You can't only think of yourself. You have to make sacrifices, Tom. Life is not easy. It calls Spartan endurance. Spartan must be high endurance, whatever refers to, right? Spartan endurance, right? I cannot describe to you, but I have never told you, but I loved your father, right? I loved your father. Underline, I cannot describe to you, but right? I know that mother, right? Then staying out late, but you're talking about staying out well. You had been you had been drinking the night you were in that terrifying condition. Laura says that you hate the apartment and that you go out nights to get away from it. Is it true, right? Now, are you hating the apartment and are you hating home? Is that the reason that you go away? So that is rest, mother. So that you hate home. So is that the reason why you go away, right? All the time you can't stay at home. No, she says that's true. In a way, Tom admits, right? There's so much in my heart that I cannot describe to you, underline. So much in heart that I cannot describe to you. Right? Then do you go, where do I go to the movies? Why do you go to movies so much, Tom? Right? I go to movies because I like adventure. Adventure is something I don't have much of at work. So I go to the movies, right? So now, as we can't have adventure, as we can't have adventure here, right? In my real life, I go and see people having adventure in films, right? In films, characters have adventures. So I maybe that experience will become my experience. I personally can't have advantages. Then I see adventure films, so that I experience adventure, right? So that is part of escapism, right? That is partly escapism. Then about 6-7 dialogues down, do all of them find adventure in their careers, right? They do. They do or they without, right? Not everybody has a craze for adventure, underline. right? Amanda says, now, though you are crazy for adventure, everybody's not crazy. Man is by instinct a lover, underline, a hunter, fighter, and none of those instincts are given much play at the warehouse. I don't, right? We ourselves are lovers, hunters, and fighters, right? That sort of instincts are not addressed in this workplace, right? Then Amanda says, man is by instinct. Don't quote instinct to me, right? Man is, you say that man is by instinct. No, instinct is something that people have to get away from. It belongs to animals, underline. Christians, adults don't want it. Instinct means you do, when a desire calls you, you do it, right? What Amanda says is partly true, right? When you get hungry, you would do anything. Now, when animals get some sexual feelings, they react to it immediately, right? They are driven by instinct. They can't control their instinct, but human beings should control their instinct, right? You might see a very good food, right? You want, you get your mouth water, but you don't go and grab it and eat it, right? We are controlling our instinct, right? That is part of civilization. That is definitely part of civilization. That's true of me. There's so much in my heart that I cannot describe to you. So let's respect each other, right? So then, yes, after that, right? So it belongs to animals, Christian. Then what do Christians then they want? Superior things of mind and spirit. Only animals have to satisfy instincts, underline. Only animals have to satisfy instincts. From there, about 7 dialogues down, like, right? So it frightens me terribly how she just did alone. Then Tom says, I guess she's the type. Now, again, they come to the topic, right? Amanda says, I'm talking about Laura, right? So she's just drifts alone and nothing. It frightens me terribly because she, I put her to a class, but she did not do that, right? She pretends that she's going to classes and she did not go to classes, and she says that she's so nervous and her hands are shivering when she's typing, right? Then she failed. Then we have to think of her future. We can't let her be like this, right? I guess Tom says, I guess she's the type that people call home girls, underline. Then Amanda does not like to accept it, right? She's a courageous mother. There's no such type. If there is, it's a pity. There is, unless the home is hers with a husband, right? Okay, home girls are means girl at home with a husband, then home girl, right? Otherwise, single girl at a home is not a home girl. There are no, you have to change it, right? Then Amanda says in the next dialogue, about 3 lines down, hours without explanation, then left, goodbye, me with the bag to so your father, right? Hours without explanation, and then he absent, then he disappeared in the house, maybe gone to drinking or something, and he did not know where he was going, then left, goodbye, and me with the bag to hold. There's a lot of burden for me to hold, right? I saw that the letter got from the merchant marine. So Amanda says, I saw that you have got a letter from merchant marine. So you might have applied to that sort of a job. He wants to be a marine. He likes to go on the sea, right? This sailor job. I know what you are dreaming of, underline. I can understand. But she says, I'm not standing there blindfold. Mama, I'm not putting barriers on your way. Very well, then do it. But don't not till there is somebody to take your place. But please be at home till somebody to take your place, because you are the breadwinner of our family, right? You can't just live like that, right? 2 of us, right? What do you mean? I mean that soon as Laura has got someone to take care of her, married, a home of her own, underline, right? Independent. Why? Then you will be free to go wherever you please, on land or on sea, right? Look at this tragedy of a sacrificing mother. I don't say me because I am old and don't matter. I am old, don't matter. I say for your sister because she's young and dependent, right? This is same as Sri Lankan situation, right? Amma kiyane මං ගැන හිතන්න බෑ. That is the nature of sacrificing mothers, right? හිතන්න ඔයාගේ අක්කා ගැන. Think of your sister, right? I am an old. I can go to an old home or something. I will lead my latter part of my life till I die. Don't think of myself, but think of your sister who has a life ahead, right? Still 24 or 26, right? Okay. Then now all this school with these the pieces, right? Then actually in real life, Tennessee Williams' sister dies in a hospital, right? She was in a government hospital, but this man became very rich with his creations and he got a lot of money. Then he put her into a private hospital and gave all the facilities with his money. Right? Sometimes he visited, but still he had the guilty feeling that he did not care for his mother and sister enough, right? By the time he died before and the sister remained in the hospital, it is said that by the time her sister died, she was a very rich person, right? All this money that with the drama and other things, money that came to Tennessee Williams was converted to, and it was written to her. Right? She died a very rich person. Right? A hospital. She was insane. Right? That Laura's character here, right? Later. Now all she does is, right, then young and dependent, then last 3 lines. Now all she does is fool with those pieces of glasses and play those worn out records. She's playing with Glass Manager. Eka polish karna, eka tiyana, ayawata kata karna. That is the only thing Laura does. Right? Mostly, then she hears to that worn out records that father has left. Right? Listen to that old music. Right? Those are the only 2 pastime. Mainly Glass Manager. Right? What kind of a life is that for a girl? What can I do about it? Then Tom asks. Right? Overcome selfishness, underline. Self is all that you ever think of. You think only about, that's why you go and drink. That's why you go to movies. You only think of your happiness. I'm too late, so Tom gets angry, right? Then, no, there must be some mother. Find out, that's right. Found out one that's clean living, doesn't drink, and ask him out for sister. Find a person, right? And propose him of your sister. Find a future partner, but there are conditions. Clean living, right? Not a womanizer, right? And doesn't drink. She's against drinking because father used to drink and father ruined all. Now this is mainly alcoholism might have ruined their married life. What? For sister to meet, get acquainted, find a person. Oh my gosh, right? Will you? Right? Then Tom leaves for work and then she picks up the phone and right over the phone she's instructing. You are a Christian martyr. And she always say that whatever the problems have, believe in God. That will give you consolation, right? That will give you relief, right? Okay, likewise, then male opposite and honeymoon for 3 wasn't that strange, interesting story, right? So they are maybe talk to a friend or something. Then scene 5, right? Amanda and Tom. Do you emulate your father? She says, the only thing respect in which I would like you to emulate your father. If you want to imitate your father only one aspect. What is it? Right? Right. So then the care he always took of his appearance. Right? Whatever he does, he was well-dressed man. Right? Always clean and attends to his appearance. Right? Okay. Always. Now there are people now, whatever they do, they are very careful with clothes. They are very careful with their shoes and all. Right? now dress well and dress for all occasions, right? Then use, then he says, I'm going to smoke. You smoke too much. Then she says, calculate the amount and says, right? Then the Tom, dance music, the image is there, the world is waiting for the surprise, right? Then on one evening spring, and then sometimes then Tom explains, this was the compensation for lives that passed like mine without any change or adventure. So that long description I'm referring to in the middle, right? Underline that one in the middle. This was the compensation for lives that passed like mine without any change or adventure, right? Without any change or adventure, this is like life like mine. And then, oh yes, right? Okay, then that Tom's narration. Then Amanda comes, the fire escape. Then the moon, right? Is there a moon this evening? Amanda, yes, it's rising over Garfield. Can the name of a place? And I think, so it's a little silver slipper of moon. That is the beginning of moon, like the moon before moon completes, the silver ripple, like, right? Then have you made a wish on it yet? Underline silver slipper of a moon. Have you made a wish for it? Now it is said, they believe that if you have a wish when the moon comes, that wish will be realized, right? What then is Tom says, I can understand, I can say your wish. Then Amanda asks, is my head so transparent? You are not a phoenix. Amanda says, I don't have secrets, right? Success and happiness for my precious children. So her wish is success and happiness for my precious children. I wish for that. Whenever there is a moon and when there isn't a moon, I wish for it, right? She says, my wish is the best for my children. Whether moon is there or not, I wish that, right? Then suddenly Tom says, do you have made it repeatedly? Yes. Now, Tom asks, now you were talking about, I thought perhaps you wish for a gentleman caller, underline, right? Tom says, I wish you thought of perhaps about a gentleman caller. Then why do I say that? Do you remember you asking me to fetch one? So I remember then yes, you have made it repeatedly. Well, we are going to have one, Tom says, underline. We are going to have what? A gentleman caller. Then again in the image, gentleman caller appears, right? Caller with a bouquet of flowers, right? Then and there is a lot of celebration music calls are surprise music. What music gentleman caller comes, right? Kind of triumphant music, the victory music. You mean you have asked some nice man to come over? Yeah, I have asked him to dinner. You really did. I did. But you really, yes, well, that's lovely. I thought you would be pleased. Yes, it's definitely. When he's going to, very soon. Then underline, Tom says he's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah. But tomorrow? Mother, tomorrow gives me no time. Time for what? Right? Then preparations, underline. Then Tom says, you don't have to make any fuss. One of my friends working, later we get to know that one of his friends working with him in the factory, right? He's coming. Tom, of course, I have to make a fuss. I don't see why you have to think at all. Then mother, then here she says, all my wedding silver has to be polished, right? You know, from polish karan the table linen out to be laundered. Then windows have to be washed and fresh curtains put up, right? So she says we have to get ready for like that, right? Okay. Then curtains to put up. And how about clothes? We have to have good clothes, mother. Then Tom says, no, there's no big issue here. This boy is no one to make a fuss over, right? I want to ask you something. If you are going to make such a fuss, I will call it off. I will tell him not to come. You certainly won't do anything like that. Nana, ewa karanna bෑ. Right? Then ask him, come, then sit down. She's extremely happy. Any particular place you would like to sit me now? Sit down. Thomas, any particular place you want me to sit down? Because everything is instructed by mother, right? When she says sit down, okay, tell me the place that you want me to sit down. Even that is decided by mother, right? And thanks, I got to, I have got the news so far. Then she says, I'm happy that, right? What's his name? Right? Finally, she asked, what's his name? His name is O'Connor. That is the surname, O'Connor. Right? That of course means wish. Tomorrow is Friday. I will have that salmon dog. So I will buy, right? He works at the warehouse, of course. How else would he doesn't drink? Underline, he doesn't drink. Why do you ask me that? Your father did, right? So remember, underneath the drama, there's a harsh criticism of alcoholism, right? There's a line which is coming up. It says that, I told you at the introduction, right? So this, all maids are better than wives of drunkards, right? All maids are better than wives of drunkards. Again, drunkards. Me බඳින්නේ නැතුව ගෙදරට නාකි වෙන එක හොඳයි බේබද්දෙකුගේ wife කෙනෙක් වෙනවට වඩා. Right? It's better to be an old mistress, old woman being not married rather than being a wife of drunkard. So she faces that tragedy, right? Amanda is facing that tragedy, being married to a drunkard, and he left. He could not. Most of the drunkards, they can't take responsibility. Right? They can't hold to responsibilities, right? Because they lack personality, right? One of the features of that lacking personality is that alcoholism, right? I'm not saying that social drink or anything, if people are having occasionally, that we also make argumentative, because you can't, you don't know where to draw the line. Social drink, it's very difficult to do. But then and there at a party or social, it's not that, right? If you have certain habits and if you are so greedy for alcohol, right? Then so that sort of people are people who can't hold up to their responsibilities, right? You just see. Tom, he doesn't drink. Why do you ask me? Your father did. Don't get started on that. He doesn't drink then. No, not that I know of, right? Make sure, be certain. The last thing I want is my daughter, a boy who drinks, underline. Last thing I want for my daughters, a boy who drinks. Why she's so keen? We know that. Prasangini, why she's so keen that daughter doesn't marry a drunkard? Huh? Why she's so?
Because his father, a drunken man. He was.
Yeah, because of the bad experience she has had, right? Because of the worst experience she has had, she doesn't want what happened to happen to her daughter, right? Okay, she was suffering. She doesn't want the same suffering for her daughter, right? Okay, well, daughter is a very sensitive girl. The last thing I want is to my sensitive means she has a concern for others, not only concern for herself, right? When you start crying for a mark, then that is not sensitivity. Sensitivity means if you call someone sensitive, that person must be feeling about others rather than that person himself or herself. If you feel about others, you are a sensitive person. Otherwise, you are selfish. That is selfishness. So that is sensitivity, right? You have to define sensitivity in the right manner, right? Last thing I want is my daughter's boy who drinks, right? Daughter is a boy who drinks. Aren't you being little bit then? But will tomorrow to meet your sister, and then Nothing. All maids, right? This is what I told you. Underline and put a mark there. All maids are better off than wives of drunkards, right? All maids are better off than wife of drunkards. Have that in your mind and say that, right? Okay. Tell your students, teach your students, right? The worst of alcoholism and teach the girls. And this is a line taken from Grass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. It says that all maids are better off than wives of drunkards, right? ගෙදරට නාකි වෙන එක හොඳයි, right? බේබත් දෙකුගේ wife කෙනෙක් වෙනවට වඩා, right? හරි? Okay? Oh my God, but still lots of possibility. Then here, Tom, don't be sarcastic, right? Then what are you doing? I'm brushing that cow. Then warehouse. Then she's right. This young man's position is that of a shipping clerk, right? So he says it's not a big job. It's a shipping clerk mother, right? Shipping clerk. Sounds to me like a fairly responsible job and sorts of job. And would they have you any idea? I would judge of approximately $85 a month. Underline $85 a month. They can $65 a month, right? It's relatively better. Well, that's princely. Princely 20 more than I make. How well I know, but the family man. So then $85 a month is a big salary. But Mr. O'Connor is not a family man. He might sometimes in the future. I see plans and provisions. Then here the present, right? Then here I know of this ignores that fact. The future becomes, right? Underline. This is I have taken in the book. Right? Underline the fact that the future becomes the present, and the present the past, and the past turns into everlasting regret if you don't plan for it. That's very positive thinking, right? Right? Present becomes the past. Then past would be a regret if you don't plan. If you don't plan for future, right? Your past will be a regret. You will be regretting, "Ayyo, that I shouldn't have done," because you don't plan for future, right? Okay. Then that future becomes the present the past, and the past turns into be everlasting regret if you don't plan for it, right? So there's insight given by Tennessee Williams. Lot of insight given by Tennessee Williams. There are a lot of universal themes, right? There are a lot of what do you call it, didactic question, that is good examples provided, right? Didactic means it's a didactic drama in the sense didactic means giving a message, right? Carrying a message, providing a message, right? For example, Caucasian chalk circle, right? Caucasian chalk circle says that it's a drama which gives a message. What is the message? By delivering a child, you won't become a mother. By bringing up a child only, you become a mother, right? දරුවෙක් වැදුවට අම්මා කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. දරුවෙක් හැදුවොත් තමයි අම්මා කෙනෙක්. Right? So that is the message inculcated in it. තව දෙයක් වේ නම් සුදුස්සාටම අයිති වීම. It should go to the person who is deserving. Right? Okay, that is the second one, but mother one is the first time to me. Right? Then I will then see that what I can make. Then don't be what's his name? James O'Connor. The D is for Delany or something, right? Then Irish on both sides, right? So Irish background, you know, Irish on both sides means this family also has some Irish background and doesn't drink. Shall I call it up and ask the right this minute? Right? The only way to find out those things is to make discrete inquiries, and then you have to be serious. So now here he says that is the way you such are, and is and up to young women from making a tragic mistakes. So you have to discreetly handle to keep young women from making a tragic mistake. What is the tragic mistake a young woman would make? Marrying a drunkard. Right? Marrying a drunkard is a tragic mistake. Right? Then how did you happen to make a then Thomas then how did you make that tragic mistake? You made that tragic mistake. So Marina Drunkard, that innocent looks, she says, right? Okay, that innocent look of your father had had uh, had everyone fooled. He smiled. The world was enchanted. Rape of the local, Belinda smiled. The whole world is gay, right? Belinda smiled. The whole world is gay. Like that, he smiled. The world was enchanted, right? And anybody who is thorough with Othello, I made a mistake. Macbeth. The Macbeth හොඳට කියවපු අය ඉන්නවා. Macbeth King Duncan කියනවා, right? Look at the similarities, right? There's no art to read the mind's design, right? Not the exact mind's constructions of the mind. There's no art to read the mind's construction. There's no art to read the constructions of mind, right? There's no art to read mind's constructions on the face, right? 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 Face is the mirror of one's heart. By looking at the face, you can't read the heart of a person. That is said by King Duncan, being cheated by Thane of Cawdor, and same thing happens to him with regard to Macbeth also. Right? Isella Thane of Cawdor ya pawa dunnama thamai kiyanne. There's no art, right? To find the mind's construction, I don't know exact line එක කියන්න පුළුවන්. I have been reading these days, right? So that's it, right? ඒක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක්. මොන දිහා බලලා කියන්න බෑ. ඉතින් මෙයා කියන්නේ මට මොන දිහා බලලා ඔයා තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ තමයි. මම තරවටුණා. I was cheated by his good looks, right? By looking at face, you can't say that he's a drunkard, right? The word enchant, so girl can do worse than ekinda I should prevent my daughter making the same tragic mistake. No, he's not then Tom says he's not too good looking. අපේ තාත්තා වගේම ලස්සන කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි, right? He's covered with freckles and hasn't too much of a nose. Kanna hema ලැත්තට ලස්සන නෑ, right? පොඩි මොනවාද dots එකක් තියෙනවා ඇඟේ. He's not right down homely rather, no right down home. Then Tom finds it very hard to describe these things because she's asking a lot of questions, right? So he gets fed up, right? Then no right down homely, just medium homely, right? Character. Then what I have always said, mother, you have never said anything of that kind. I suspect you would never give it, right? Don't be suspicious of me. At least I hope he's the type that's up and coming. Underline, he's the type that's up and coming. Up and coming is a promising young man. I think he's really goes in for self-improvement. What reasons have you to think of? He goes to night school. Splendid. What does he do? I mean, study radio engineering and public speaking, right? He's studying radio engineering and public speaking, right? This O'Connor, right? He has visions. Then she's so happy. Radio engineering, and then there are sort of things that a mother should know concerning a young man who comes to call her daughter, seriously or not, right? One little warning: he doesn't know about Laura, right? He doesn't know about Laura. Right? And I didn't let that he had dark ulterior motives, and I didn't let on that we had dark ulterior motives. I just asked him to come and have dinner, right? And why don't you come and have dinner with us? And he said, but I bet it was. You are eloquent as oysters, then praising the sun. When he sees how lovely and sweet and pretty she is, right? Okay, then when this is what mother thinks, lovely and sweet and pretty she is, he will thank his lucky stars he was asked to dinner, right? Yeah. Devyanta ස්තුති කරයි මාව මේ දිනයකට එව්වට කියලා. When he sees mother, you mustn't express too much of Laura. Why do you mean? What do you mean? Laura seems all those things to you and me because she's ours and we love her, right? Tom says, අපිට යාව එහෙම පේන්නේ. Yeah, we love her. So always we have high picture of her because, right? We don't even notice that she's crippled at any more, right? Don't say cripple. Mother don't like that word, right? You know that I never allow that word to be used, but face facts, mother. But fact is a fact, right? She is, and that's all. Yeah, him anything, right? What do you mean, right? Laura is very different. That's not all. Laura is very different from other girls. I think the difference is all to her advantage. Even as my advantage, not quite all. In the eyes of other strangers, she's terribly shy. Underline. She's terribly shy. Shy and lives in a world of her own, and those things make her seem a little peculiar to people outside the house. She looks peculiar. Don't say peculiar. Face the facts. She is, right? Then the changes into as a minor and somewhat ominous tone. In what way she is peculiar, may I ask? She lives in a world of her own, a world of little glass ornaments, underline. A world of that is being lost in glass menagerie. Ornaments, mother, right? And Amanda remains, right? Then she plays and autograph records, and that's all. That records that father has left, right? Where are you going? I'm going to the movies. Not to the movies, every night to the movies. I don't believe that always, right? Then Laura, yes, mother, let those dishes go and come in front, right? Now she's getting ready, right? Laura, come here and make a wish on the moon, right? Laura, have a wish on the moon. Screen image, the moon. Moon? A little silver slipper of a moon. Look over your left shoulder, Laura, and make a wish. Now, darling, wish. What shall I wish for, mother? Right? Happiness, good fortune, right? And actually, what though she doesn't say, a gentleman caller falling in love with you and being married, right? Being married, okay? So we have only 3 scenes left, right? Where it comes to the climax. So next day we'll be finishing that one, and we'll be starting Macbeth also, right? And there are other things to be done also in the theater paper, right? So anything which is not clear before we wind up, I have another lecture with Candy Batch at 1, right? Same thing will be done, right? Tell me, huh? If there's anything you want to ask. We know that. Is that clear? Everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Now read the rest of the drama and get ready. Now it's a very beautiful story,
Okay,
right?
sir.
Read the rest of the drama, everyone, and get ready. We can do quickly, right? And we will discuss questions and all, right? That's a beautiful drama, right? Okay. Then the lecture is done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. All are
Thank you
welcome.
very much, sir.
Yes. We'll meet again next week, right? Most probably next week or week after next.
Thank you, sir.